Oh, wow. Rude.
So, some of you were probably like me today and spent some amount of time today staring at something like this screenshot right here. For on this day, June 8th, 2022, Xenoblade 3 pre-orders were available, and they just didn't work. Nintendo's online store could not work as an online store. Some people could add it to their cart, and then it just wouldn't check out, or shipping address, and your cart would be magically empty. Some people were just put in waiting queues, and then client-side error. Some people got to the product page, but then the release was TBD. It was a very, very, very bizarre day. There's just a lot of thoughts I have on this thing as a whole. IT, software design, whatever the term is for what Shopify and all those things are. This stuff is hard, right? Stuff is hard. But like, you're Nintendo of America. You gotta be able to expect something like this and then account for it. You have to have some kind of projection and then be like, okay, well, let's figure out if our website can handle this. Oh, it can't? Well, maybe we shouldn't have announced this one day before and actually gone and done our research or something. I am sometimes a Nintendo apologist, or more specifically, a Nintendo of America apologist. Not in the case of the contractors, though, because I think Nintendo of Japan has a lot more authority in that relationship than a lot of people believe. And I think it's mostly NOJ with their outdated systems and beliefs that causes the branches to basically run like it's the 1980s. So I usually just point the finger at Nintendo of Japan for decisions that honestly don't even impact like bottom line and just really weird like IP protection or something. But this is all Nintendo of Japan. Or this is all Nintendo of America. This is all Nintendo of America, right? It's their online store. Sure, it probably works on the same backend and stuff as the Nintendo of Japan. Nintendo of Japan probably made like the baseline architecture. Who knows? But like, this isn't even like this is a game where Japan doesn't like it. They go through stuff just fine, and then America really likes it. And America was like, oh, we weren't expecting that based on what Japan interest in the game was. This is a game where Japan interest is probably much higher than the West interest. And yet they didn't, and yet still, their website ran into high volume. The Xenoblade doesn't have as many fans as probably other mainstream games, but like Xenoblade in the West probably has more fans that care a high amount than other fandoms, like Mario or whatever, which is why Special Edition specifically is where the problem comes in. Like, there's no way that the pre-order on a Special Edition of Xenoblade thing has such a high volume of traffic that exceeds, like, a Pokemon pre-order or something like that, where you would just expect the base game to have a lot of pre-orders. I don't know. I don't know how often people pre-order games anymore now that it's digital and you just get it on the day anyway. I don't know. But I still find it very weird that this whole thing happens in the first place, because maybe Nintendo America was like, wait, people actually like this franchise here. We thought it was just dead. Japan just gave it to us and told us, maybe. Another weird factor in this is that the thing is a Nintendo Shop exclusive, whereas for Definitive Edition, I was able to just look at my local GameStop a few weeks before, see it's there, oh, I can pre-order it, cool. In this case, no, you can't do that. The main reason, I guess, for this is the staggered release of the fact that these actual collector's items are not available until like a few months after the game's launch. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. You can't really go into a brick and mortar store, pick up the game, and then they put you down to like come in another 3 months or whatever. And it makes even less sense when you consider that this is summer. People are maybe working summer jobs or internships or school or something. So they are maybe in a different location in a few months and can't pick it up from a GameStop or something. Yes, GameStop and Best Buy can ship, but you don't know their ranges. They may not want to move inventory around, whatever. As far as who's to blame, it could technically be anyone for why the collector's items aren't available on the game's release. Still probably Nintendo's. When in doubt, go to Nintendo for blame, because it's maybe something in their manufacturing pipeline. Technically, we don't know, but again, it's just another factor that contributes to this. Because again, like, you made it a shop exclusive. You knew it was that going in, and yet your site still didn't work. Overall, like, there's not really much Nintendo America can do at this point. Okay, well, that's a lie. There's a good amount of stuff they can do, but they just won't do it. There's like the best case scenario where you like know who was waiting in the queue and you give them like store credit or something. Hell, you could limit their store credit to specifically Xenoblade Special Edition. If they're late when the stuff actually opens, then the store credit doesn't count. You could even do the classic Nintendo thing of just doing that instead of just making it a universal store credit. I mean, this online shop couldn't function as a shop. I don't expect it to be able to actually track who was logged in and trying to visit a page if it can't do the bare minimum of what it's expected to do. They can try something sweeping and just saying, like, okay, we wasted a lot of people's time. The special edition will be like $10 off or something small. I think that is in the realm of like something companies would do, but not Nintendo. Like, Nintendo barely puts stuff on sale, like, under normal circumstances. You want them to actually do a price cut for something that was their fault? No chance. No chance. Like, I get that overhauling stuff is difficult. Like, I don't know, I play League of Legends. That client has been bad since the fucking Cold War. And I get it, you know, it's a plane mid-flight that you're trying to disassemble and replace all the parts on it. I kind of get that. Software engineering's hard. But, like, you can ground the plane. We won't mind. We won't mind if you ground the plane and tell us, you know, now it's less likely to crash if we just ground it for a few days, you know? We won't mind if you just take the store down for 2 days to run your tests and figure out like what the hell is going on the back end. I guarantee you, as long as it's not close to an actual release, which, to be fair, we're in summer, this ain't Christmas. You can do it. And I mean, if we're being real here, the collector's edition really ain't shit. Like, it's better than what we got for DE here in the States. You compare that shit to Europe, it's like, what the hell did we do wrong? Who did we piss off? I understand that some Xenoblade fans are freaks. You know, again, it's a fandom with more extremes. But like, what did we do wrong to not get the Europe equivalent of the collector's edition? That made no sense to me. And now it's just like, oh, it's the same thing as Definitive Edition, but with a steel back. Saying, oh yes, what I've always wanted. To be fair, I mean, like, I don't know, at least on first glance of the art book, they have the, I don't know what its even official term is, reaction panel or whatever, which they had in like the official Japanese only art book. So it's like, okay, you're trying to make this art book better than the thing I can buy separately for $40 and it's like much better. Like, I don't know, in the DE collector's book, like, yeah, there's some nice stuff. I can look at Dunban and more often, but like the only interesting thing in it was like the storyboards in the back, which I found really cool. Much better money spent on the like Xenoblade official like Japanese Xenoblade 2 art book. So yeah, I mean, like, the collector's edition isn't really anything special here in the States. I didn't even double check before talking about this to see if it was different in other places. I don't know. Overall, like, it was just a really, really dumb situation that I don't even know how this happens anymore. How can you not fix this shit? How can you not expect high volume on days? It just doesn't make sense to me. And I don't think anything's really going to come from it except for a lot of angry people. And, I mean, again, I don't think, even though this is a purely Nintendo of America problem, they probably can't make any sweeping changes unless Nintendo of Japan gives them the okay. And they probably won't because they're like, what are you talking about? This has never happened before. Go.